Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. Adam, how's it going?
It's going good, Steven. How are you guys?
Good, good. How was the weekend?
Adam,
Hey, Chige. Weekend was good. It was hot, but they've opened, our roof is open, as I mentioned previously, and the pool's open. And for the most part, people have kind of stayed distant, and, everyone's been pretty respectful here. So we spent the weekend up at the pool for a few days and just kind of took it easy and ate good, too.
Yeah, I saw. And at DC, they just celebrated one day with no deaths, COVID related. That's awesome.
Really? Okay, that's
Yeah,
awesome. Yeah, yeah. So fortunately, unlike you guys down there, Steven, we're paying attention to the rules and not spiking. So
yeah,
we're
yeah.
pretty fortunate.
Yeah, we all not act over here. But well, I'll let you and Chike take away movie reviews.
Sure thing. So I saw this weekend a movie called Palm Springs, and this is I call it a romantic comedy starring Andy Samberg and Kristen Melody, and it basically is a story about a two wedding guests, and one gets pulled into a time loop that the other one has been in. And so Andy Samberg's been in kind of this time loop where the day repeats itself every time he falls asleep or dies or anything like that. And he pulls Kristen into this, and it's kind of the story of how they navigate this wedding day that they keep coming back to and keep revisiting day after day after day, and what they can do to kind of hopefully try to get out of the rut. Um, it's really good. It's a Hulu movie. I highly recommend it. It's only an hour and a half, which I think is an ideal length for most comedies. And it really has a kind of a twist. It's not, the Groundhog Day movie that we've seen growing up, but it gives you a kind of a new perspective and a new thought of how people, or how maybe you would act in a situation like this where you pretty much live forever because the day never ends. So
mm,
definitely check it out. It's on Hulu. You don't have to pay any extra, just this Hulu subscription, and I highly recommend it.
oh, good, cool. So, my first film, or actually, it's not a film; it's a docu-series. It's on HBO. It's called "I'll Be Gone in the Dark," and it follows. It's based off of a book by Michelle McNamara, and Michelle McNamara is the late wife of Patton Oswalt, the comedian who used to be on King of Queens, if
Hmm.
you're familiar with who he is. And she had a blog that she wrote, and it was about just crime and murder and mystery. And she became enthralled with I think the Golden State Killer, which to this date, that perpetrator has never been caught. And he's basically murdered and killed number of people in the state of California from the early 70s into, I believe, the early 80s.
Hmm.
And he's never been caught. So that's the most amazing thing, is that he's never been caught. And that always fascinated her. So she went on her own investigation, and she started trolling the cold cases. And she started giving the cops things that she would come up with um, based off of what she found that they didn't have the opportunity to find, because they didn't have the internet back then. They didn't
Hmm.
have certain things, and she had a different eye on how to look at stuff. And to be fair, she became a total geek about it. And she actually came up with certain clues to give the police, that it gave them different types of leads. And award-winning Liz Garbus, who actually created this docu-series, brings us to HBO. It's very riveting. And to think about how things were back in the 70s when it relates to certain types of crime. So I learned that in the 70s, because I was just a kid back then, but the charge for rape back in the 70s was only 30 to 90 days in jail.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, exactly. And there was a lot more victim shaming going on. So the victims would be abused to the point where they were asked, well, what did you do? Why are you wearing that?
Hmm.
Why are you out here? Why are you by yourself? Well, where's your man? Where's your husband? Why are you alone? And this is what has been going on they talked to a couple of the victims, and this attacker's modus operandi was, if you were in a couple, And I saw a couple of these episodes on Law and Order, where the attacker would come in, and if you were a couple, he would tie the male up and sit a stack of dishes on his back and tell him to lay on the floor as he proceeded to rape the female while the man was, listening and waiting. And if he heard the dishes, he promised that he would kill the victim. It's very interesting. Check it out. It's 6 parts. I'm actually on, I think, the fourth part at this point.
Okay.
So definitely check that out. It's on HBO. Go ahead.
I would add actually, and it's actually kind of timely because the guy just confessed maybe 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah, because I'm not that
okay.
far.
Sorry, I don't want to spoil it for you, but yeah, I think they caught him maybe a couple of years ago, but he finally, like just 2 weeks ago, that was kind of the news as he confessed to all the murders.
Yeah.
Wow.
Remember that show I told you? The show I told you all, like the woman that does the DNA to find the.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
She's the one that solved that case.
Oh.
When you were talking about Adam.
So when you were talking to us about it, was that the one that you were talking about?
No, that one just aired. It didn't come on last week, the week before.
Okay.
Because she was doing a case similar to that, but that case was going to trial while she was filming. Yeah.
Awesome. This is a good documentary. Definitely check it out. The second one is another documentary. It's called Outcry, and this came out in April. I'm just new to it, and it's about what's his name, Greg Kelly, out of Texas, and it's Williamson County. And Williamson County is known for. I remember the case of the husband that allegedly beat and murdered his wife, and he went to jail, and come to find out he was innocent the whole time. Well, Williamson County is that county. So with that blemish on their record, there was a case of child abuse and child molestation. And this high school student, Greg Kelly, star high school student, to the point where he was accepted into the Texas Longhorns when he was in the 10th grade because he was that good. He was accused of molesting a child, and everything was stripped from him. They tossed him out of school. They took away his scholarships, and eventually he went to jail, and he was sentenced to 25 years. And there was a long investigation. He professed his innocence, and come to find out, it was someone else. But the story is basically about the county and how they band together to not have another blemish on their record, and they rather had sent someone who was innocent to jail as opposed to looking bad yet again. Mm-hmm. That was really, really good. Check that one out too. The justice system isn't always just. Yeah. So my last film, listen.
Yeah, I'm excited
I was thinking about how I was going to bring this to the table. I am so excited about this film. Like, it's probably one of the best films that I've seen this year. Charlize Theron can do no wrong in my book. She is the antithesis to Tom Cruise. She is going to have a career like Tom Cruise if she continues in film. At this point, she doesn't really do any films that she doesn't produce. She has to have her hand in them. The Old Guard is a graphic novel that she basically took and had it worked up into this wonderful film that Netflix delivered for us. It's action-packed. You get the guns. You got the martial arts, the fighting. It kind of a little reminiscent of John Wick a little bit with the style, the shooting, and the action. And a little comic book, a little superhero in it, because the premise is you have these 4 people who are immortals, and basically they've been going through time righting wrongs and saving people and protecting people. But in the midst of them doing that, they don't really realize how they're changing the course of the world by helping people. And so maybe I save Adam today, but I save Adam today, and his child his child's child is the one that cures cancer, you know, and throughout time, they're basically shaping the world to be a better place, but they're becoming discouraged because they're in it and they can't see it. They're just working. They're trying to do minimal good, and they can't see the big picture, and they're getting discouraged about what they're doing. And someone actually tries to foil what they're doing, and it's basically them against them. And it's one of the, like I said, one of the best films that I saw this year. Full of action. You'll laugh a little bit. Charlize Theron is a beast. I love her. I've always have. You know, ever since Monster, she's been kicking forth great content. So it's on Netflix. It's 2 hours and change, but it's so worth it. It's this good. Certain scenes, certain sequences, I found myself rewinding it so I could watch it again.
Oh, wow.
How did they do that? How is this possible?
Yeah.
Fight scenes are amazing. Like, if you're into like martial arts and action that way and gunplay, you're definitely going to want to watch this film.
Nice.
Well, I watched the film. I've been watching a lot of films lately, but the one I wanted to mention is called Only. It's on the top 10 on Netflix.
Saw that.
Oh
yeah.
My gosh, it's about a couple who goes through a pandemic together, and
yes.
But theirs was up to 400 days, so over a year. But it makes you think, because we didn't expect to go through what we're going through now. And what
it's very
happen.
now. It's very now.
Yeah. So, anyway, but check that out. It was really good. Someone posted on Facebook. I said, let me watch this. So,
and just saying that Leslie Odom, who is another well-rounded artist. Leslie Odom is a acclaimed, award-winning, Tony Award-winning singer who turned actor. And if you don't know who Leslie Odom is, if you can remember, Nationwide is on your side. That commercial, he's the one that sings that.
He's also, it's Leslie Odom Jr., right?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
He's also in Hamilton as Eric
Yes, he is. Yes,
which
he is.
At this point, I assume everyone in America has seen it, and if not, what are you doing watching this show?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, Steven, come on.
I'll watch it though.
I'll give you the $7 if you need it. Just
give me $7.
All right, fun fact about Hamilton, because I know Hamilton is now on Disney. I listened to an interview with Questlove and Michelle Obama, and I didn't know that Lin-Manuel first debuted Hamilton at the White House before he even brought it to the masses. He wanted to show it to them to see what they thought about it. And Michelle Obama said, yeah, this is a little crazy, but okay. I was entertained, but the whole concept of, everyone playing
hip-hop.
All these different characters. Yeah. She said it was different. She said, but she was like, yeah, this is really going to go far in a joking way. But yeah.
That's interesting. All right, guys, as always, thank you for letting us know what to spend our time on. Hope you have a great week, and talk to you next week.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely.
Right back after this.